because he was drafted same draft as Ja Morant, as
Mm,
RJ Barrett, but late
mm,
first round. And now he's probably the fourth best player in the draft. 23, 3 and 5 this year, one steal. The what stood out to me last season at the end of last season, the last 28 games,
mm,
26 and 3, 47, 36, 80 splits. The
mm,
only it was only he was one of six 22-year-olds. Ja
mm.
Morant, LaMelo, RJ Barrett, Darius Garland, Jalen Green, and Tyler Hero with those stats. But guess what? Five of those guys were drafted top five. Tyler Hero
Mm,
was drafted 13th. Keldon Johnson is drafted 29th.
mm.
Explain the what makes this guy exceptional for someone who's not a John Morant.
Yeah, so Keldon Johnson, like I said earlier, is the only 6'5", 6'6" wing that can score 30 points. I don't want to say on any given night, but on a great night, and can't create for himself. No cross trail between step backs. You're not looking at him to get you the last bucket. 3-2-1 scenario. That was DeMar DeRozan. That was DeJounte's role. And Keldon Johnson is just he's just a scoring. I've trying to put like a definition to it. He's not a 3 and D wing. He's not really that great on defense, but on offense. Let me explain. Sorry, let me explain. Pump
Yeah,
fake.
hold on, because now you're confusing the hell out of me. I saw him compared to Rashard Lewis in the article, and I was
No,
like,
no,
okay, he's not
no,
that tall, really. Okay,
no, no. That's a poor comparison. I'm not gonna lie to
okay,
you.
wow.
But Keldon, respectfully, of course, Keldon Johnson is 6'5", 6'6". Lost 20 pounds over the summer. He highlighted that during the preseason. Was really just a little bit just heavy setting on the shoulders, but we're gonna talk about that in a second. When he drives to the basket, pump fake, he's not gonna take you off the dribble. He's not gonna blow by you. He's not that electric. He's not doesn't have that quick of a first step. But his shoulders at arm length, not crazy. I think it's like 6'8", 6'9", if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. He basically has Manu Ginobili just teaching him that Euro step, the 1, 2, fillet off the rim. He's not going to slam on a lot of people, but he always finds a way to get it and one. Now, I promise you, if Keldon Johnson drops 25 points, right, the Spurs win, he's going to have an and one. He's going to have 4 threes. It's like at any given night. Granted, his shot is still kind of catapultish. It's still pretty slow. It's wet.
Yeah.
It's wet. Excuse my language, but it's wet. Literally, I promise you, from the right corner, from the right ring, right wing. Sorry, in the top of the key, it's money. It's been like that since, like I said, last December. Chip England was the greatest shooting coach. This west side of the Mississippi. He's in OKC now. We miss him dearly, but hey, he was working with Keldon in depth for the past few years, and he literally helped him fix his shot. It was to the side. It was too slow. He wasn't getting it off, and now it's literally a little bit. It's still a little slow. It's up. It's a good rotation, and he can get it off. And he's like I said, he's left open a lot. People don't honestly they cannot let that happen in the near future. They have a good scouting report on Devin Vassell. They love his mid range game. But Keldon Johnson, teams got to do their research. You cannot leave that man open. I know it's the motion offense I was telling you. Pretty much it's a pick and roll, then some off screen ball action on the other side, getting people going, cross on the baseline. Someone's going to be open, right? And Keldon Johnson, lock and loaded, what do you say, 43%? I think as of right now, yeah, he's money. So I'm not saying he's going to make an all-star selection this year, but in the near future, I want you to remember like the great Detroit Pistons teams, the Bulls teams with 3 or 4 all-stars on one team. Obviously, the fan vote and social media may have some leverage in it, but give Keldon Johnson a first and second star. Let him be like the Rip Hamilton. Let him be the Luol Deng, and he'll make one all-star team. Same thing with Devin Vassell. I'm super high on them. The confidence they're embracing excuse me, they're embracing the San Antonio culture. They're always on the community, giving back, doing great things, staying out of trouble. The commercials I told you, they're not only they're in them, but they're great actors. So
Right.
Keldon Johnson's done a great job. I honestly wish him the best. And honestly, if you want to talk about value, you talk about RJ Barrett's contract, you talk about Tyler Hero's contract. You want to pull up Keldon Johnson's contract, that's $18 million over the next 4 years. And it's kicking in next year. And that's probably the highest value, the best value for him himself. DeJounte Murray, 17 million. Derek White, 17 million. You catching a pattern here?
Right.
I'm not saying we're going to ship Keldon Johnson out. I know that we're probably going to be tanking, but in terms of the value, we pretty much locked and load anybody and everybody to the best of their ability. That's honestly at the right level of, in terms of play, in terms of priority, and just I think honestly that's what we really talk about RC Buford for, just making sure they stagger who's like not going to be a 20 million, not going to be a max player type of guy.